A thief from Palathane, a northern ranger, and an assassin from the distant shores of Delcash all walk into a bar. But how did they end up in that bar together? In this video, I'll try to explain to you how exactly my Aaron Rose campaign kicked off. As ironic as it might sound, my campaign actually kicked off in one of the most traditional ways possible, which is with a storm at sea. The characters were all on board a ship, and for reasons that were generated in their pre-story, we're traveling to the same location. Now that location, irrelevant now, because the first thing that happens as the game opens is the ship capsizes, and all the characters are swept overboard. And they drown. As the darkness surrounded them and began closing in on them, and just before they penetrate the veil of death, a pale light appears. And that pale light is accompanied by a strange voice. The voice is both male and female, wound over one another, as if two voices were talking at the same time and somehow were merged. And it said, "Only here, at the threshold of life and death, can I speak with you directly. A time of great darkness approaches. To the world of the living I can return you, but at a cost. We cannot act upon the world. Guide we can, but those guided must agree. Agree and live again." So, I had preceded all of the characters with the idea that this was going to happen, and so of course they naturally all agreed for a variety of reasons, again relating to their backstory. That was kind of cool. After they all agree, what occurs next is they bob to the surface. The tempest has passed, and the first things they hear are shouts from someone somewhere speaking the language of Azeri, saying, "Look, there in the water, survivors." Of course, they're rescued almost immediately by the crew of a passing Coregian vessel called the Dark Maiden's Dance, which is an awesome map, by the way, Chris West, so shout out to Chris West for that. But secondly, it's a small vessel known as the Maiden by her crew. The ship has lost a lot of crew, and Hylos, who is the captain, pleads with the characters to help him limp to port. They agree, of course. They were bobbing in the ocean after all. They probably didn't have too much of a choice. During travel, it becomes apparent that Hylos considers them to be sent by the gods. Now, there's a really good possibility that they were, in fact, sent by the gods, but we don't know that yet. He reveals that he was sent by the runecaster of Goris to pick up heroes in Beria. The mission had been really vague. The runecaster had spoken to him. He didn't really seem to know what he wanted, but he dispatched Hylos to go at great speed to Beria to pick up these heroes. He owed the Prince of Goris, who was the runecaster's master, a significant amount of money, and so he had accepted. He journeyed there, picked up people he thought he was supposed to. The signs of what were supposed to happen, of course, weren't told to the characters. But during the tempest, those people, in helping trying to keep the ship afloat, were washed overboard with the rest of the crew who were lost. The discovery of the party in the middle of the sea, therefore, he takes as a literal gift. He was supposed to go somewhere, bring people back. Those people were killed. But here are these other people surviving in the middle of the ocean. After a couple of days, he implores them to help to meet with the runecaster with him. He feels that they've been sent by the gods to replace these heroes, or perhaps they were the heroes he was meant to find in the first place. And the character's thinking, well, this seems kind of strange that this person happens to be carrying people who kind of resemble us. They agree. In Goris, they're taken to see the runecaster. He is the seer of the Prince of Goris, Prince Thoril of Goris, who is the ruler. And his visions have guided the prince to victory and success. However, recently, his visions have become clouded with strange images he doesn't know. Like, not ruins, but symbols and sigils that he has no understanding of what they are. Eventually, 3 of these signals stand out in his mind. He drew them down and looked for somebody to identify them, but he couldn't find any information on them. This has driven him to distraction because, of course, he's responsible for foretelling for the prince, but at this point his vision has become clouded. So he inspects the characters when they're brought before them, and his intuition is clouded. And he's desperate. The prince is losing faith in him, and he needs clarity. He hires the characters to take these symbols to the Library of Natha, which is an ancient center of learning in Delkesh, which is quite a journey. The characters, they agree. And this seems all mysterious, the mysterious voice, these mysterious ruins, speaking to the seer in dreams that he can't understand, and so off they go. Hylos tells the characters the maiden requires repairs, but before she can sail again, because she was damaged in the storm, before she can sail again, and the characters are going to be stuck in port for a time. They head out to find some way of distracting themselves until they can take the ship again, and they encounter an Azeri noble who is seeking a treasure in Goris. He turns out to be some sort of strange cultist of Morgath. They interfere with his plans, and they come away with some treasure. They also come away with the distinct feeling that this cultist will be unhappy that they came away with his treasure. One of the items, which may or may not play a role later on in the game, are a pair of tablets that look to be made of sea glass, but the material they're made of is much tougher than sea glass, and they are themselves inscribed with a variety of symbols, not necessarily text symbols, but symbols. There are a pair of them, and they fold open like a book. They are attached by some mechanism that they can't decipher, and the entire thing is just alien to them. With the treasure they take out of the tomb, they help Hylos repair his vessel, and he, in turn, begs them to become partners in his ship. Because, of course, being God-touched, found in the middle of sea, brought back to life, as it were. He doesn't know about the brought back to life part. But found in the middle of the sea, he believes them to be blessings of Varani, the goddess of the sea. He's very superstitious and considers this to be really lucky, and so he's happy to be partners with them. And that is basically where the campaign picks up. The characters are aboard the Maiden. They're sailing generally eastwards, looking for the library at Natha, and their adventures will take them there and beyond, but you should be able to pick up the rest in the episodes of the Iron Road. It's been a real pleasure to game master this game. It's a real pleasure to broadcast it and to share the adventures of the characters with the rest of the world. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching.